Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you to all our witnesses for being here. I actually have really enjoyed the testimony. I know we've been bouncing around and we were on the floor, but it's been really good as a new member of the committee to hear it. Broadband is critical. It's absolutely essential to our students, our healthcare providers, our rural communities. We've got some folks that are here with me, constituents of mine from some of those rural communities. Yet, and the criticism from us, and I think broadly, at least some on the other side, is that under the previous administration, mismanagement and regulations have really slowed that expansion, leaving many Americans, particularly in underserved and rural communities, without that necessary access. In South Carolina's 7th Congressional District, where I represent, Horry Telephone Cooperative, HTC, is bridging that digital divide. If you look at a map, you can tell where the county lines are because they have installed so much fiber and connected so many people, tens of thousands across the county, and expanding into others. They've made major investments in high-speed internet, but without these streamlined policies, their ability to provide that reliable, affordable broadband, I think, is at risk, and they're not the only ones, right? We must fix those programs, preserve the Universal Service Fund, cut some of this red tape, and improve the grant programs as discussed, like BEAD. And so I look forward to hearing how we can modernize that, and we've heard a lot of that testimony today. But Mr. Hale, what role do you think the USF plays in ensuring broadband access generally to people along the Grand Strand or in rural communities in South Carolina?
Yeah, I mean, as I stated before, USF is the essential program. It's not necessarily designed to bridge the digital divide completely with capital projects, but it does provide that in South Carolina. It does provide that in every state, and if you want it to last long-term and be there 10 years from now, be sustainable and promote affordability, it is the program that you have to do. Again, now you have to have interjection of these other programs at the same time to do that capital for these market failure areas where USF is not providing that. That's where BEAD comes in. So, but it's critical. It's going to be critical for a long time. These networks aren't going to last forever. You're going to have to rebuild them again at some point. So that's you've got to have a strong USF program.
Thank you for that, Mr. Donovan. Can you discuss the importance of ongoing USF support in maintaining initial investments in those broadband networks?
Absolutely, and I love holding up HTC as a success story for how this program can work. As I've said before, that there's no such thing as a future-proof technology if you can't continue to preserve and invest, maintain it. That's just part of operating a network, and that's why it's so critical to have the backstop of USF for preservation of service as well as the expanding broadband connectivity. And that's why we are so concerned that if the Supreme Court does something to jeopardize USF, I strongly encourage you to be ready for Congress to step in and to maintain it.
Speaking of, I mean, that was honestly where I was going to go next. I was going to go to Mr. Hale, but we're going to continue right with you, sir. I think you just got in the hot seat in a good way. Given that uncertainty, what should Congress do now to prep for maybe the inevitable, or maybe just general things that we can do to fix it with the funding gaps, the loan defaults, broadband price hikes for consumers resulting from Supreme Court action?
I mean, so CCA is part of this at the Supreme Court because we do think that what Congress did in the 96 Act is constitutional and that we were successful, but we're defending it because of the grave situation if this court goes the other way. So Congress can affirm again the constitutionality of the Universal Service Fund. The challenge while the court case is pending is that if you don't know how the court could say that it's unconstitutional, it doesn't really give you the roadmap for what Congress needs to do to fix it. Again, because we think that it's already pretty clear that it is constitutional.
Thank you for that. Mr. Hale, also kind of in that same vein, do you believe that Congress should consider, I know that there's a proposal to address the private delegation issue before the court of the Universal Service Administrative Company. Do you believe Congress should consider that option in preparation of?
Congress should be prepared, yes. I think there's, a plan B. We still think USF is constitutional. We are hopeful that the Supreme Court will rule that way. But yes, Congress should be prepared to step in because we've talked about today the devastating impact if USF went away, and it would be immediate. So definitely need to be ready for, and I know this committee and staff and leadership have had discussions about that for a long time, along with the Senate Commerce Committee.